So not too long ago, my days would always feel kind of chaotic. You know, I had school, gym, university, school is university, gym, content, social media, social life, and just so many other small things that I want to get done with in life. But most days I would end up, procrastinating. I'd end up feeling overwhelmed, or I'd just end up, forgetting most of the things that I want to get done. And now you might be asking like, yo, how is your life so optimal now? How do you live such a perfect life? Well, I got you. It's just using a calendar. It doesn't have to be so perfect, but a calendar is what's made the biggest difference in my life to this day. In this video, I'll just be going over the two-step process of how to, effectively set up a calendar. And yeah, we'll just get into it right now. Wait, is it hitting the microphone? So maybe it's not exactly a two-step process, but I don't know, I guess we could call it step 0 because we're technically not doing the calendar portion yet. But before we even start setting up a calendar, we need to figure out what our time needs to go into. So the first step, and what I learned from a different video that I've watched about calendar planning by Miles, I don't really know how to say his last name, but what we'll do is just organize our life into broad categories, and then those broad categories we'll allocate different amounts of time into. So we'll just do me, for example. So Sanuka's life. So first, what I have is school. So I'm a student, university, and then I have personal time, which will be like, the gym, content, I don't know, like eating, like doesn't really matter, just like personal non-negotiable things. And then I also have like work, like extracurriculars. That includes like work, volunteering, things like that, or just other commitments that we have, volunteer, work, etc. So now that we have like these three main broad categories, what we'll do is just mirror these into our calendar. So here, well, I'm like way far down the line. Here we have work, school, and personal. So these are like three main things. I'll get into maker later, but we'll just mainly focus on work, school, and personal. So the main thing with this step is just to figure out what these three broad categories, not three, but it could be how many you want, but the goal is just to keep it simple so that we know like what are the different aspects of our life that we need to commit our time into. And then we'll just mirror this into our calendar. And then also one more thing is just mirror it into your reminders. That's like something extra you can do, but this is just a place where you can dump like extra tasks related to each area in your life. For work, I'm able to like put different things like what I need to do, like if I need to do my trade recap, or I'll have social media under the work, kind of like it's just like a subcategory, like posting videos, posting short form things and such like that. So now that like we're on the topic of reminders, something else I want to mention is just like this inbox list. Maybe I don't even know, I should probably chill, right? But inbox is just a place where I could dump my tasks into, because usually throughout the day you'll spontaneously think about different things that you need to get done, and usually those ideas will just fly by you and you'll just end up forgetting them. So what I like to do is I have a shortcut on my iPhone that when I click it, it'll just like allow me to add a reminder quickly to this list, and then that way I could just like quickly jot down tasks that I need to get done, and it'll just be I won't end up forgetting them. Usually by the end of the day, I'll just look over this list. I'll organize it into current focus or later. So like the current focus are things that I need to get done. I need to record this video. I need to make a script for another volunteering thing I've done. And I have to figure out if I can direct deposit. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, and then I have later things which are a bit less important or like later down the line. And then if they can like apply to these different lists that I have here, then I'll just put them in there. But yeah, that's the main thing with reminders. That's the main thing with calendars. And just, yeah, the idea is just to organize your life into the broad categories so that we know where our time is going to go to. Okay, so now that we have a clear idea of where we're putting our time into, we can start to actually like block out our time and plan our days. So the first step, what we want to do is plan out our non-negotiables, the things that are like always going to happen, because everyone says that we have like the 24 hours in a day, but people don't really know where those 24 hours are going. So just being able to visually see this, knowing where non-negotiables are and seeing where your time's going is really helpful. So what I like to do is, actually I forgot to mention like how to add a new calendar. It's just going to new calendar, iCloud, and then you just label it and then change the color to whatever you want. I like to just keep them kind of like the same shade because my favorite color is blue, and it's just something nice to have. So what I'll do is I'll put all my non-negotiables in the personal kind of calendar. So I'll have like wake up, breakfast, lunch, sleeping, night routine. I like to stretch every day, journaling, reading, things like that. Those are like non-negotiables for me. I have to do those every day, otherwise I'll feel kind of like down. But those are like the main non-negotiables. We just want to have those repeat every day, because those are things that are not going to change, and we need to build our calendar around that. Otherwise we're just going to be juggling different things around, and it won't be ideal for us. Also, we'll want to fill in like things that are fixed or scheduled. So for me, that's like school. So I have my lectures and my labs. I don't have any labs from here, but we have like our labs from before. I also got work, so I have like extracurricular scheduled things, like I work on Wednesdays volunteering, just different things that I have to that are scheduled for me to get done with. So just, you know, putting in those fixed things, we could like visually now see like how much time, like we have this block right here, we have a block here, block here, block here, we have all these different gaps, and then that is where we'll fill in our tasks. Also, one more thing, something I like to do, this is a bit extra, but on my phone I'll set up like alarms for these non-negotiable tasks, like, you know, waking up. Actually, I don't charge my phone in my room, and I just use my Google, but, you know, when it's time to eat breakfast, I'll set an alarm up on my phone, because if I'm working during this period of time, chances are I'll keep on working and I'll just like lose track of time. So just having an alarm, it just keeps my day like on pace, because if I end up working too much, then breakfast will get shifted down, showering will get shifted down, and I might end up being late for my lecture. So just setting alarms on my phone, it gives me an idea of what time it is. It gives me an idea of like when I need to get things done. It's something completely extra. I'm not saying that you have to do it, it's just something I prefer to do. But, you know, just having like a routine, like an alarm, like when I need to go to bed, just getting ready to wind down for the day, it just helps a lot with that and just helps me stay on pace. Okay, so now that step 1 is complete, we can get into step 2, which is just, you know, filling in these gaps intentionally. We got to make sure that we do it properly, otherwise it'll be ineffective. So what I like to do, instead of planning every single minute, you know, instead of going like, yo, from 12 to like 12:15, I'm gonna do this, then from 12 to 12:30, 12:15, and 12:15 to 12:30, I'm gonna do that, and doing like this. Like this is just pointless, bro. You're not gonna stick to this calendar. There's no point in doing that. So what I like to do is I'll fill in these gaps with things I call maker blocks. Now these blocks are just times that I have throughout the day where I'll just get deep work done, and typically they're in the same like time of the day. So like what I like to do is, also like where I got this from, why it's called a maker block. Well, I got this I was listening to a Alex Hormozi video, and he just likes to call them maker blocks. These are just times where he'll get deep work done. This is where he'll schedule his time to work. I think what he does is like he schedules way longer periods of time, but I don't really have that time in my schedule, especially with school and everything like that. So what I'll do is I'll usually have like decently large chunks of time, you know, an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of just time where I can like schedule myself to get work done. So throughout the weekdays, it's mainly fixed at the same time, 6 to 8, that's my main block. During the summer though, it'll change from like 5 to 7:30, because I'll be studying for like an exam and everything like that. But, you know, these blocks are just like times where I know I'll be able to lock in. These are times where I'll get deep work done. And it's just like at the same like kind of time in the day. Like it's just like my work periods, you know. So the important thing with these is that you need to assign specific tasks to these. You know, you don't want to be vague. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna study. Like you can answer a lot of different questions with just studying, you know. You could say like, what are you gonna study? How are you gonna study? When are you gonna study? You know, things like that. What you want to do is just be specific. You want to be like, yo, I'm gonna do 10 practice questions in this block. I think I have a couple examples here. It's like here I'm gonna look over my Chem 102 previous lecture, and if I have time, I'll look over psych. Here, plan out my volunteering and review my 261 lecture. Go over a practice exam again. I probably knew which exam I was looking at. It's probably my chem exam, which was the next day. But yeah, the simple things like that, you know, just planning out specific things I'm going to do. Plan like Friday, plan the calendar, this video I'm filming, look over my 261 lecture, look at English thing and hit core, and simple things like that, you know, finish 102 lab, etc. You know, you want to be specific because 1, it helps you like have more clarity on what you need to start, and 2, it just you know, like if you have that clarity to start, and if you're struggling to start, you like if you know what task you're gonna do, you could think of like the first step that you need to get done in order to get that task done with, you know, like instead of thinking like, oh, I have to film this video, think all I have to do is just open the script. You know, if you're thinking like, yo, I have to do this exam, all right, I mean like study for the exam, just think like, oh, first thing I have to just do is just open the book. Or if I have to do a quiz, you know, first thing I have to do is just open the quiz. You know, simple things like that, simple tips and tricks, if you will, on just getting tasks done. One more thing I'll do is like with the inbox here, like I said, I'll put in like these tasks into these maker blocks. So here, like yesterday, I had direct deposit. I need to figure that shit out still. You know, that's like a task that I have here. So I got to still figure that out. That's why it's high priority. That's why it's current focus. I still haven't figured that out yet. But yeah, so that's like the main thing with maker blocks. Also, don't try to be so perfect with everything. You know, for the first couple like times that you do this, or like first couple weeks, it'll be difficult to gauge how long different tasks will take you. You know, some things will take longer than you anticipate them to be, or some things will be quicker. So, you know, definitely give yourself some flexibility when you're planning for the first couple of days, because, you know, as you go on, you'll have a better idea of how long different things will take. Like for me, example, like when university started, I didn't know how long lab reports are going to take. I didn't know how long it would take for me to do quizzes, simple things like that. But as like the semester went on, I started to understand how efficient I'm able to work and how long these tasks should be able to take me. So once you're able to like gauge how long you're able to like it'll take for you to do a task, just simply plan that out accordingly, and also don't overbook yourself. If you're just like overbooking yourself, you're gonna fall behind eventually, and that's not like good. If you're falling behind, you're gonna end up playing catch up the entire day, entire week, entire month, and that's not good, because you're just gonna feel worse than how you would feel if you didn't have a calendar in the first place. So yeah, just don't overbook yourself, just keep it simple, and yeah, like if you finish a task early, maybe reward yourself, or if it like just takes you less time or you work harder than you anticipate yourself that you would normally, just reward yourself, take some time off, maybe just rest, chill for a bit. I don't know. What I like to do is I'll take the task from like the next maker block and move it up to that one, and then just get it over with, and then my day will just be shifted higher, and I can just go to sleep earlier, and sleep is just kind of my reward, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah. So this next part is kind of just like a personal recommendation, but I did not realize how dark it got since I started recording this video. But my recommendation is just like, protecting your mornings. What I like to do personally is like I feel the most energetic when I wake up. So that's when I'll do my most important tasks. I really don't know how to say that, but that's just the time I'll plan out like what I need to get done, because otherwise if I just leave it for later, that's like it'll just end up procrastinating, or I'll just end up forgetting to do it like in the end. So yeah, the most important things that usually involves studying for like the most intensive task, just putting the most important thing. Now I know not everyone like functions like that. I know some people who like, I don't know, they work best like from 10 to 2 a.m. That's not me, but like you just gotta like, as you like progress and as you continue to like be more familiar with how you work, those like you'll have a good idea of when you're most efficient and when you're not most efficient. Like for me, my worst efficiency is like from 2 to 4ish, like from like noon to like 4ish, and then I'm like pretty efficient from like 6 to 9, but at 9 that's just when I need to go to sleep, and then I'll start all over again in the next morning. I personally just like the feeling of like having a whole day before my actual day starts. Also, like the sunrise is pretty nice to look at, according to Heinrich Huberman, getting the sunlight when you like wake up is like good for your energy and things like that. But yeah, I just like to see the sunrise. I like to like just kind of have that accomplished feeling. And also New York session open is at 6 a.m. my time, so it all just lines up at the same time, so it's pretty optimal. But yeah, here like the main point I'm trying to say is just, if you don't protect your mornings, if you like end up scrolling, if you end up texting, if you end up getting in unnecessary drama, your entire day will just be plagued with that. Like I remember like the days that I start my morning off just texting or just getting involved in unnecessary things, those days I would end up being super inefficient, and I just like, not work to the best I can. So for the last part of the video, I just wanted to go over some common pitfalls to avoid. So first off is just, you don't want to plan to be busy, you want to plan to be like intentional. So this kind of goes with like overcomplicating. Well, that's like the next point I'll mention as well, but you could like be busy, but you could still get nothing done. You want to fill your day out like with like ball rolling tasks, things that will get you like to the next point, rather than just like pointless things like changing the color on your calendar, or like talking to ChatGPT about how to optimize things. I'm totally not doing that right now, but we all fall victim to it, and it always feels good to kind of like have that planning phase, but you gotta limit it, and you just gotta like actually like be intentional about what you do. By being intentional, you want to have like a clear idea of what you're going to do, being specific. You could say like I said earlier, it's like you could say like, oh, I'm gonna study, but you need to be intentional with it. You need to have a clear idea of what you're going to be doing. Like rather than just saying I'm going to study, you could say like I'm going to do 10 practice questions, or I'm going to do like 50 flashcards, or I'm going to do like read this passage, or I'm going to review this lecture, or I'm going to do these practice problems, etc. You want to be specific, and you want to have like an attainable goal that you can get done during that time period. Next thing is just over optimizing. You don't want to like be planning out every single like minute of your day, because that's just going to be pointless. If you like over optimize, it's counterintuitive. If you end up falling behind, you're going to end up like everything's going to keep on carrying out, and then the next day you're going to end up behind, and it's just going to keep on piling up like a snowball, and you'll just feel worse than when you did not have a calendar. You're just going to be playing a constant game of catch up throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, and you'll just feel like nothing's getting done. It'll just be like not a good time. Life will not like always go according to plan, so you got to have some room for error, and you can't beat yourself up if some days don't go according to plan, because not all days will. You just got to accept that and like move on, and just like adapt to what's going on with your real life. Now the last thing is just planning without actually taking action. You could just keep on saying like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, but when tomorrow comes and if you actually don't do anything, what was the point of all that planning? You know, it'll feel good to plan out your day. It'll feel good to, like, you know, have a clear idea of what you're gonna do. But the next day, if you're not motivated, if you don't feel like, oh, I have no willpower to do this, then there's no point of doing any of that planning. For me, what I've noticed, as you get more consistent with this, as you spend more time working on a consistent schedule, your days will become more like habits. You know, your body will become more accustomed to doing certain things at different times. You know, just like when you go to sleep at the same time, you'll feel more sleepy at that time, and just like when you wake up, you'll wake up at the same time. It'll become like that. You know, in the morning when you want to get work done, you'll be more likely to be locked in. When it's time to work out, you'll be more hyped to work out. And if you don't do those things, then your day will just kind of feel off. Like for me personally, I like to lift every like 6 days of the week. So those days that I don't lift, I genuinely feel like something's off. Like, you know, I need to take that rest day sometimes. But, you know, just like as you continue to like habituate your day will just become a full routine, and it'll require less motivation, less energy for you to, you know, start the task or get the task done with. So yeah, that's just one more thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that helped in some way. That's just what took me from living chaotic days to more disciplined and organized days. So yeah, I mean, if you like the video, make sure to like it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.